Honorable Jerry Ahmed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, paragraph 7. Mr. Speaker, paragraph 7, respectfully, with your permission, says that the PPA, by a letter dated 29 January 2020, conveyed the board's approval to the Bank of Ghana. The approval to use the shortlisted contractors for the restricted tender also revised the estimated cost of the project from 100 million to 81 million. First of all, just want to find out if that was complied with. And then when you come to paragraph 10, it goes on to say that the PPA, in response to the bank's letter dated 31st August 2020 on the outcome of the tender process, reviewed the initial PPA approved estimated amount from USD 81 million to USD 121 million. Just want to find out what accounted for this change. If the first was complied with the 100 and something to 81 and then the subsequent one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable James Agalga.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, if you look at paragraph 5, the bank states that the land was compulsorily acquired by the state through an executive instrument. Now, they also go on to state that the said land was previously owned by the state insurance company. So my question is, did the state compulsorily acquire from itself? In any case, how much compensation was paid by the state after the compulsory acquisition? What was the value of the land? And how much did the state pay?
Honorable Dominic Bingham Nitul.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want the document that the governor shared with members. I want confirmation because most of us here have gone through or at least have held public offices before, and so we know the processes. I've seen from your briefing and to the document, you stated certain things. I want confirmation. Your briefing says that this project was a restricted tender. How many firms did they restrict it to? When they were opening the bid, were the company's present or not? Were they in the room when they opened the bid for all the restricted tender? That's the first thing, so that it's transparent for everybody. Secondly, after PPA has given you approval and your entity tender meets, was it taken to the Central Tender Review Committee of the Ministry of Finance or not? This is the second leg I want. I see it here, but I want confirmation from you. In your own document, you are admitting that the industry standard, this contract is much lower than the industry standard in terms of per square meter. What really is the problem, Mr. Governor, with this contract from your own perspective? Because one, you are admitting to Parliament here that it's much cheaper than the industry standard. So it means that this contract could have been higher. That's the first thing. You are saying to us that this contract, it could have been even much higher than the price. And so the contractor or the winning bid did Ghana a big favor, or the Bank of Ghana a big favor, by giving you a contract lower. And in fact, as the former Minister for Agri said, if the tax element is actually part, then it's much, way lower. And I will even be surprised that anybody will do that. So I want to find out from you, what really, in your view, is the problem with this contract? What is it? Is it the cost, which you said is lower? Is it that it didn't go through the processes? Or what really is the problem? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, honorable members. I intend to take only one, and then give the opportunity to the leadership. So, Honorable Sule.
Chairman, I'm very grateful. Chairman, on page 6, please sit down, sit down. On page 6, we have been given payments up to date, but we have not been given the percentage of work done. We need to know the percentage of work done, and that's to commensurate with the payments made. So I think that it's very important for us to have the figures, percentage of work done, and then amount of money paid. That is one. 2, reading and listening to the governor, we have 2 projects here. The main projects and then the other auxiliaries that were added. Now you went to PPA and you were given approval for the main contracts. Then you went again for approval where you said you use sole sourcing for the consultancy. Now the installation and the other security items, did you go back to PPA for their approval? And what procurement process was used in choosing them? That's the second issue. Then the third one, yes, it's been said here, but I still want to go to ask about it. What is the total cost of this project? I'm asking this because if land was not valued and added to the project, how do you tell us that? How can you tell us that this is the total cost? We need to know how much the land will cost. Then when you add it to the total cost of the construction and other installments, then you can say that this is the total amount of money expended on the project. So we need to know that. Thank you.
I'll give the floor to Habib. But honorable leaders, when a leader is on his feet, so Honorable Abena Osei Asare.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to know, just as it's been stated here, that the cost of the project per square meter is way below that of the industries. So I want to know why they've been hauled to Parliament. Secondly, I also want to find out if this is the only big project Bank of Ghana has done in its lifetime. All the other projects that they have done, what is the process? I know they have done one in Takrade, they have done the hospital, they have done Tamale. And clearly, we also want to find out the processes they went through in all those other projects, and whether they went through things like this, and whether they were hauled before Parliament for putting up a project in Takrade, in Tamale, and the hospital as well. Because clearly, Mr. Chairman, if we are being told that the cost of the project is way below that of the industry's cost, frankly, why have they been hauled to Parliament? Thank you.
Well, on your question why they've been called to Parliament, I recognize the Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the former Deputy Finance Minister objected a member of Parliament for Etiwa. Minister of State, sorry.
He's a leader.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, when the Honorable Adongo was on his feet, the Honorable Member for Etiwa East, objected strenuously. I saw her on her feet. She remonstrated against Adongo asking any question. Now, Adongo has not even been sworn in. He does not owe a fiduciary relationship, all right, with the Bank of Ghana now. And yet, as a director, and yet you objected. You were on the board. At the time that this decision was taken, you were on the board. So you are even more conflicted. You are even more conflicted. You are even more conflicted than the Honorable Adongo. You are even more conflicted.
Mr. Speaker, I need to put this on record. I was sworn onto the on the board in November 2024. That has to be on record. November 2024. That has to be on record because this is
Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minority Leader. Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, by that time,
Honorable Minority Leader.
Into that building. I was sworn
Minority
in November
Leader, please,
2024.
you have the floor.
Thank you.
Leadership should wind up. Leadership should wind up.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, you. Mr. Speaker,
Honorable members.
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable
with
members,
respect.
kindly resume your seats. Honorable members, kindly resume your seats.
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Tampuli, Honorable Kojo-Opon, please resume your seats. Please resume your seats.
Mr. Speaker, if you indulge me, Mr. Speaker, I think, Mr. Speaker, I think you should give us ample time to digest the issues. Inviting the governor here today, you saw the debate before we went into the committee of the whole. So if we don't give members the opportunity to ask the questions they ought to ask the governor, when will we get that opportunity again and make comment? So, Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal to you that you should allow members to ask those questions.
Honorable people, you have been in this house for some time. Tell me an occasion of a committee of the whole that we have taken 10-10 from each side.
Mr. Speaker, I am not going to labor on this issue. You are the chairman, Mr. Speaker, and it lies on you to be able to create that opportunity for us so that members can ask these questions. The majority leader and the leader of the House forcefully made his point that it is necessary for the governor to be here so that any question we have with regards to the building, then we'll be able to ask. But now if we discharge him out of one question, he will leave and we still have questions hanging. It means that he hasn't come to say anything because we have not been able to get the opportunity to ask all our questions. So, Mr. Speaker, with respect, kindly give us the opportunity to ask the questions.
Honorable Deputy Whip, you can't take away this discretion from me. We are winding up the debate. So, Honorable Minority Leader, you have the floor.